Does your child explode over the tiniest of things and you're wondering, like, why is this happening? We're going to bring some light to you today about explosive child meltdowns. And I want to bring up Harley Faith because what do we name 2-year-olds typically all over the globe?
I've heard the term terrible.
We call them terrible twos because don't we just expect that our toddlers are going to melt down? And something that I'm aware of now that I know creating Champions for Life principles is that she's literally transitioning from like being a baby, which the only language they're ever born with is cry. They don't come out of the womb going, yes, please, no, thank you. Can you help me? And then I've watched her over the last year, from about 1.5 years to she's almost 3. And there were a multitude of times that could have turned into an absolute explosive meltdown. But because I know now what she needed in the moment, we've had the most amazing year of her being 2. And I'm almost like, oh, she's getting too old too fast. Like, I don't really want her to become much older than she is right now. But let's bring some light onto this. You've worked with thousands of kids from 2 to 32 living in parents' basements. And when parents say like, oh, my kid just explodes over the silliest of things, what does that mean from a kid brain?
So what makes that really fun is, what if that would be, well, let's take one of God's laws. Effect always has a cause. There's something that preceded it. You remember the time when Zach would come running and say, Jacob just hit me. And then you would run in and scold Jacob for, we don't do this, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But we asked Zach a quick question. Hey, Zach, what was happening right before Jacob hit you? And then all of a sudden he went, straight up turned around because...
Yeah, it was one of those walk on water moments. I was like, wow, what just happened there? Totally diffused the sibling rivalry.
Because if you could rewind time, it would be like he wanted in. He was saying no. And then he just kept bugging. He's like, look, dude, no.
Okay, so you just hit the nail on the head. Zach would go poke, 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 poke until Jacob exploded. And so now we're talking about Zach's explosions. Now, my son, when I first met Tom, was 6.5, diagnosed with the most severe case of ODD the school psychologist had ever seen. He was throwing his desk in the classroom. The kid never went to bed without a 3-hour screaming fit every night. Like, he was having these explosions, but it didn't begin at the age of 6.5. This is just what he had learned over his lifetime to do to make what was important to him show up.
Correct.
So we have to go back. Even if you have a 15-year-old with DMDD and ADHD and ODD and all these disorders that are explosive, we have to go all the way back to the age of 2, is what you're saying. Because over a period of time, this develops.
You mentioned 2.
Yeah.
Let's call this a benchmark. In 2 years, you must do literally anything and everything for the offspring, because if you neglect it, no attention, it dies. False or true?
Yep.
Just cold truth.
Sure.
So thank God for that. Our Creator is so perfect in every way. They're like, we're going to make sure this just happens. But what happens at 2? If you continue to do for, they squeak, you give them the grease. They cry, you come in. And I understand the whole game. I'm not for or against it. But what if there was a sacred window right there that says, wait a minute, I'm supposed to learn all these life skills. Nobody's giving me a chance. You see, when we can stop doing for and transfer what you're doing for them over to them, from 2 to 18, where you literally put yourself out of a
job. Yeah, and I just became super emotional just listening to you talking, and I'm hoping that you, if you're listening to this, became super emotional there, because what Tom just said was huge. It was something that I'm seeing looking back at my rearview mirror as a mother, and something I'm seeing now as a grandmother. I know that when Harley's with us, she doesn't have these explosions because we're not attached to her results. We know that our role is to prepare her for life, and we give her every opportunity to eat her own soup, hold her own glass of milk at the table, where I've watched my daughter go, no, she's got to put it over here because she might spill, or, it's just easier if I just do this myself. I can see what mothers are doing to cause their little ones to feel like they're being drowned, almost like put into a box of like, look at me, like see me, validate me, show me what to do, give me a turn. And it's just simple little game-changing things like letting her flip the light on or flip the light off when we leave a room, or letting her stand at the sink and play with the water until she's soaked from head to toe. Like, who cares, right? Just clean up some water.
Do you remember when she would leave the crib? Can't walk yet.
Yeah.
But guess who was light switch certified?
Yeah.
Before she could walk.
Absolutely. Harley, Faith, still. So she's been doing the light switch for 2 years since she could move the light switch. We never had a fence on our stairs. We taught her how to climb the stairs at 6, 7, 8 months old. She was flying up and down the stairs like nobody's business. And these are the little things, moms and dads, that if you take this to heart today, will change your life instantaneously. We've been taught to redirect, but that is a mistake because the kid is showing us what they're ready to learn, what they're ready to do. There's a story in, what book was it? I think it was Poverty to Power by James Allen in one of his collections. And he's talking about the mom tucking the kid to bed at night. And back in the day, back in the 1920s, they used candlelight to light the room. And so she's tucking the kid to bed every night. He's wanting to touch the candle, wanting to play with the candle. And she just kind of redirected away from the candle. Well, one night when mom wasn't watching, the little guy went for the candle, burned himself with the wax, and burned the house down, and never had to be shown the power of that candle ever again. Where if mom had just let him touch the candle, put the hand over the top, this thing's hot, show what the candle can do. Even like whatever you need to do, like drop a little wax on their hands so they can know that it's hot. He never would have touched that candle, and he never would have had to learn that lesson in such a harsh way. Yeah. So I think that's a really prime example of let's stop redirecting. Let's stop telling our toddlers no. Let's start guiding them with love. And you know what? We're doing a series right now. And actually, we have a new book coming out soon, and it's called Parent in Love, where we're literally debunking the lessons of parenting from Scripture. And I didn't even know this. I knew that God never said, beat the child with a rod, but I thought spare the rod, spoil the child was in the Bible. And it isn't. And when we talk about the discipline, like using the rod to discipline our kids, when you figure out that the shepherds back in the day used the rod to protect the sheep, to guide the sheep in which direction to go, and to pull the sheep out of, crevices when they would fall in, the whole way to discipline is forever changed now.
That's
because
very true.
God literally showed us how to be a parent. Love is patient. Love is kind. It's not irritable. It's not angry.
I remember as a kid in the 70s, you looked up discipline in the dictionary when it was written back then. That meant to teach.
Yes.
It actually meant to self-regulate, teach. So to come full circle. And answer that question, what is an explosion? It is oh my gosh, I can't take any more. You're not getting the message. Teach me my missing life skills that I was promised if I showed up as a winning lotto ticket here on earth in physical form, thumbprint proves it.
Yeah.
And you're not getting the message. And I told you how many commas.
Yeah, 1,000,000 times.
And everybody is being pushed to the point where I want to live independently.
Oh my gosh.
And that's the sacred game.
And hey, I got to ask, if you've gotten anything out of this episode, make sure to click like, give us a comment. What are your thoughts here? Subscribe to our channel or our podcast, and binge watch all that you can until we meet again.
Here's to our parenting success. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Bye for now.